Hello and welcome to Digging with Dude. Today we will be covering a subject that either precedes or is involved in every single story in any historical narrative, basically ever. It is a fundamental thing about societies, and even into the modern day, this plays effect on all of us, really. And that is the relationship between different lifestyles, so to speak. On the far end, we have nomads who live an entirely, nomadic lifestyle of varying levels on the absolute far side. And then you have the sedimentary farmer who sits down in one place and regularly, grows his crops and sells them for goods, and or lives in a society where the skilled tradesmen trade goods in exchange for, their food. And society builds around this premise and evolves in many different ways. Now, there's not just two sides to this story, but there's two far sides. And you either fall on one side of the line or the other. Sometimes if the absolute middle's here, sometimes you have nomads who partially stay in one place, like for the winter or something, or for storage bins, or for trade posts, and then you have your hunters, who occasionally go out and forage for food and kill deer and do stuff like that, who aren't completely in a economy-based society. They still supplement their diets with your classical forager lifestyle. Now there is like I said, 1,001 different variations on how someone can fall into this. But if you fall on one side or the other, it affects vastly how you're going to live in ways that kind of amplify. So if you are a nomad, that means that you're endlessly moving. And depending on what kind of a nomadic society you live within, that depends on where you'll go, who you'll bump into, the potential for advancement in society, your likelihood to declare war, all sorts of things. Now, nomads are notoriously warlike. Part of it falls into the fact that their skills can be easily translated into murder with a very, very small adjustment. If your life is riding on horseback and shooting deer with a bow, then it's not a big step from changing the deer with a person, But if you're a farmer and you rake the soil, it's a decent step away to whack a guy upside the head with that rake or whatever. Not that effective. He's got to go out and make new weapons or make makeshift weapons out of his farmer's tools. Now, another factor in this is with lifestyle comes birth rate. Now, a society always on the move has a high rate of child death, both as an infant and before they're born as miscarriages. Now, this simultaneously does what you will see with animals, non-humans. The idea that when you create circumstances that kill the weakest members of society, the herd as a whole is a significantly stronger gene pool in the sense that they have less hereditary issues within them, because those issues cause those people to die and therefore not carry on their genes. And so nomads are notoriously healthy, not just because of the genetic whittling, but because when you're a nomad, you primarily eat meat or berries, a wide variety of things, really. A large portion of what is meat. And in sedimentary societies, it is very typical for meat to be reserved for nobility. So the peasantry, who's doing most of the farming, he's almost never going to eat meat depending on the society he's in. So a nomad is much, much, much healthier. That said, depending on where you're living, the numbers within a nomadic society compared to the numbers within a sedimentary society can be skewed vastly, vastly. Depending on the barrenness of the environment, nomads might number in the hundreds, and settlers might number in the tens of thousands. And so, several times in history, nomads have simply become a drop in the bucket. They slowly became high-ranking members in agricultural society, and they bred in, and eventually there was not enough of their DNA to remain distinct, and so they sort of merged with the people that they bred into. And yeah, I guess this video is getting a little long, so I'll have to throw a second one on here.